Coming at you with a Melmetal deck today featuring a number of big improvements from our Mythical Island expansion. Drudagon is the perfect frontline stalling Pokemon, giving you time to build up your Melmetal to 4 energy in aggressive matchups like Starmie and Pikachu. Mew serves a dual purpose role, both allowing us to have a tanky frontline when Drudagon's nowhere to be found, and be an additional backline in the game for Melmetal's not enough to get us across the finish line. Most notably, Mew's genome hacking is stellar into decks like Charizard and Mewtwo, which previously gave Melmetal a hard time in the previous format because while its body is very tanky, it goes down in one hit in those games. Speaking of going down in one hit, another excellent pickup here is Blue, which can allow your Melmetal to actually survive a side drive from Mewtwo, giving you a chance to crack back. Finally, Leaf is an incredible addition to these decks. It can allow you to maneuver Melmetal out of the active spot and actually be able to attack with it again later. It also lets you pull Drudagon out in key spots as well. One thing to note is that this deck list I'm showing you at the start is one card off of what you're going to see me play in the games. I substituted out a Budding Expeditioner for a copy of X-Speed after playing a number of games. I found I wanted a little bit more finesse in my draws that involved Meltan and Drudagon as opposed to the ability to scoop up the Mew. At any rate, I hope you enjoy the games. I think they do an excellent job of showcasing this deck in a wide variety of matchups. If you like what you see, smash that button for the rest of the day. Have fun. So pretty stock EX Pikachu here from our opponent. They've got Zebstrika, Zapdos, and then one Denden as the new Pokemon. We got one copy of Leaf, one copy of Blue. The copy of Leaf is on top of the 2 copies of X-Speed, so they're simply trying to play more copies of that effect. They have first energy advantage, which is not stellar for us. Although Mew EX with Budding Expeditioner here is a pretty solid start. Go dig in for a Meltan. Have Melmetal here. No copies of Red Card is notable here, so don't need to worry about playing around that. Yikes. Well, we hit another research here, which is good because this is a matchup where Mew EX is not a real attacker because we're not going to have electric Pokemon on our bench. So we need to get this set up as our attacker to have a shot here. We have 3 draws next turn with 2 hits and 10 cards, so statistically likely that we find our thing, but if we brick on it, we're going to be in trouble. There's our little guy. I think we want a second Drudagon as the last spot on our bench here, ideally. Gives us our best chance to play around Sabrina, of which our opponent is playing 2 copies. So they'll crack us for 90 here. And then next turn, we will Budding Expeditioner, pull the Mew back to our hand, and put Drudagon up. All while continuing to build up Meltan. Melmetal with Giovanni notably clears everything in their deck in a single go. This is showing kind of the other side of Mew in this deck, basically. It lets us buy time to set up Melmetal here. So it's an attacker into things like Mewtwo EX and Charizard EX, but it can also buy us time in spots like this. If we can fade their 1 copy of Giovanni, we're in a really good spot because it means Drudagon would get to soak 2 turns worth of damage. If they have their 1 Giovanni, we're going to be under a little bit more pressure. Yep. I do thankfully have my second copy of Mew EX, so I'll be able to play around Sabrina next turn, which is nice. Notable here that our opponent is not playing Red Card, so I get to hold my Melmetal back as some hidden information so they don't necessarily know that it's coming up. We will go ahead and play out our second copy of Mew here to play around their 2 copies of Sabrina. And then with Leaf and Melmetal set up, I think we're mostly good to go here. I don't think our opponent has any lines to win the game from here. I think they're just dead. Melmetal is so good in these matchups. Take out 2 knockout points. Then with the Giovanni queued up here, we clear anything else they play next turn in 1. Melmetal definitely having a heavy impact on this game's outcome. I think this long pause here is the opponent trying to figure out if they have any lines here. They do not. If the opponent would have powered up Thundering Hurricane on their Zapdos, they could have had a chance to high roll us this turn with the Zapdos dealing 150, but because they chose to power up the Pikachu EX instead, they're on the zero outer. But it's worth noting, even if my opponent had correctly identified their line, they still would have needed to flip 3 heads to win this game. To go this, into retreat, into Giovanni, and we're moving to game 2 with us being up a game. We have first energy advantage again, which is beneficial. Bricked on. Bricked on my... We really want to start on Meltian when we have first energy advantage. Super unfortunate to miss on that again. Oh, I missed that they had Baby Mewtwo in their deck still. My brain just shortcutted that to a Mew EX, but they totally do. What would you say is needed to make Stage 2 Pokemon more viable in general? I think it's really funny that you asked that question while I'm playing against one of the best decks in the format that depends on a Stage 2 Pokemon. That's a common question people actually pretty frequently ask, which is... I think people think about this deck as being a basic deck because Mewtwo EX is its primary attacker, but it's a good deck because of its stage 2. The games where this deck doesn't have Gardevoir, it's much worse. If we find a copy of Mew here, I think we're in an okay spot. Am I putting out second Melmetal? Meltian? They don't have another Sabrina, right? So I think I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. So I think it's unfortunate that I can't blue as well. they're gonna get to clear my Melmetal back. But then at that point, because I have one knockout point, they're never going to be able to have their Mewtwo EX up when I can threaten to switch into Mew. We'll be 1 point to 1 point. I can threaten a one-shot, so they're gonna have to clean up with their Gardevoir. Thanks for the entire year, Michael. Appreciate it. Welcome back. It's a little unfortunate that I've used both my copies of Leaf at this point, because it means I can't threaten to switch the Druddigon out. I think we're dead if they play well here. I think they just use the Gardevoir to clear the Druddigon, and then we're up a creek without a paddle. I think our opponent's gonna have to make a mistake to lose this. I'm very confused why they're not powering up the Gardevoirs. They're making that's definitely a mistake, but I don't know if it's a big enough mistake for us to actually be able to win the game is the problem. They hit me, I put a second energy, they clear me, I put a third energy. Yeah, I think we're a turn short still. They gave us an extra turn by making a mistake, and I don't think it matters, unfortunately. Oh, wait, does double potion give me the extra turn? Is that gonna let me capitalize on their mistake? I think the double potion plus blue might let us capitalize on their mistake here. So, double potion buys me a turn. And then, so they hit me, I go third energy. They knock me out, I go fourth energy. I blue so I don't get cleared by side drive. I clear this. Yeah, I think we've actually won the game because of their mistake, because of the two potions. I don't see an avenue for them to win from here. They're not playing Giovanni. I believe they've thrown by waiting a turn to attack with Gardevoir. Blue. They already played their Sabrina, yeah? Yep. That doesn't matter. You see, Pokemon TCG Pocket is a place you'll be for a while. If Pokemon TCG Pocket allows me to make content that allows me to provide for my family, I plan to be here a long while. I've really been enjoying Pocket's gameplay a lot. I think it is a ton of fun. So this means we don't die to Mewtwo next turn. And this knocks out their other Gardevoir in one, and this knocks out their Mewtwo's in one. Yeah, opponent had a really strong draw, but they missed the line and they gave us one turn, and we were able to capitalize on them giving us one turn. Thanks, Blue. Appreciate you. Like to hack some genome, please. Or lore accurate Mew. Out of this first content drop, Mew EX is probably always going to be relevant. Yeah, for sure. I think I agree with that a lot. I think it's one of the best cards you could spend pack points on if you haven't been fortunate enough to open it. Oh, that's noteworthy that you get a little bit of extra splash from my space heater with the new audio setup. That's a good call. I also had accidentally left the space heater on high, so I can toggle that down. Confirmed Golem Enjoyer. I don't think I put Meltan out on the bench here. We just go ahead and do this. Is there anything that punishes amassing again? I don't think so. Even with like a Giovanni, they'd still only have 50 damage. Are Mythical Island packs only for a limited time duration? I would assume all packs are going to stay active until they rotate them out of Standard, which likely won't be for a very long time. Paper Pokemon has a 2-year rotation on their packs, so I wouldn't be surprised if Pocket followed a similar trajectory. Drawing Mew is nice, so I think... What's the math on the back and forth look like here? So, I put an energy on something. They hit me. I hit them. I put a second energy on something. Yeah, I think I want to start powering up Mew as my second attacker here, because the way this back and forth works, they're gonna knock out my Melmetal first because they get the first hit with the Golem, but then Mew can come up and clear the Golem out. So guard press means they take 30 less, but they're still gonna go ahead and take 90. I suppose there's a world where they have double potion. Does that let them survive? Double potion will let them survive the first hit from Mew, but Mew also won't go down in 1-2 Golem. So I think we're in an okay spot. Because it's going to take them forever to set up an additional attacker here. Because remember, Mew's genome hacking lets us use their guard press back, which threatens 90 even through their resistance. Yeah, all of these Drudagon Dirtle decks, letting Meltan just sit in a mass for free, seems really good for this archetype. I was sitting down thinking about things I could brew that might be competitive, and I was really surprised that nobody had touched Melmetal post-expansion. I haven't seen anybody talking about it. And from a just like pure game theory perspective, Drudagon and Mew, as well as people playing a little bit slower, seems like this type of deck could be really well positioned. I've been enjoying your content a lot because you explain a ton of things and I learn a lot from you. I'm trying to understand the game, not just paste the deck list and play it. You've definitely come to the right place, Medius. I think it's almost assuredly true that I am one of the more experienced deck builders in the Pocket space when it comes to building really competitive stuff. Leaf's kind of interesting here now too. What do we think of... Well, do I just clear this? What are they doing? I already have a knockout point. How do they win the game from here? I think they're just dead, right? I could be tricky and like retreat to this, but I don't think I need to do that, right? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and potion this, so that way we don't get cleared by Graveler. And I think if we just keep heavy impacting, they don't have time to build a second golem. And this is the big downside to this golem deck, is like it's pretty all in on just golem. Like sometimes it can Marshadow you afterwards, but it's a pretty linear deck, all things considered. Yeah, I just want to set up to make sure Melmetal doesn't get KO'd by Graveler, I think. Maybe I was supposed to blue there as well, so that way what's it called doesn't get us Giovanni plus Graveler. These golem decks don't usually have room for Giovanni, but it's probably worth playing around just in case. Okay. So many wonderful flavors out there, and our opponent chose to be salty. My opponent's leading on water, so I think I'm going to open on Meltan here. A lot of these water decks are Magikarp stuff. Them leading on Staryu means I'm a little bit sad to have led on Meltan. Probably this. Pass back. I saw a Gyarados list with Old Amber. Does that card have any interaction in the deck? There are a number of people who like playing fossils instead of playing extra basic Pokemon. And I think those people are largely pretty silly. The fossils without things they evolve into, I think, tends to be pretty bad. It was something that was clickbaited very heavily when Pokemon Pocket had its soft launch, of folks proclaiming that to be good. And the tournament results really haven't shown that that's the case. I'm going to go ahead and leaf back to the Druddigon here. The only question in my mind is, do I want to throw a Mew out or not? I think I do. Putting Mew out makes it so if they Sabrina us next turn, they can't get a knockout point. What version of Gyarados do you think is the best? From a data-driven perspective, the Greninja Gyarados deck is the best performing by a pretty significant margin. Fossils are good because they are Sabrina fodder you can get rid of for free. Most of the time when people are Sabrinaing you, they're going to be able to knock out a 40 HP Pokemon, so it's really not remotely free Sabrina fodder like people often talk about. It's literally only free Sabrina fodder when your opponent can't knock out a 40-point thing, which is pretty rare. Mismatched Leafs are making me sad. Can I sponsor a poll to try and fix it? You definitely can. Thank you for the massive tip, William. We'll whip some packs and try and dig here after. Ooh, Budding Expeditioner is an awesome draw. Means that we'll be able to put Mew up and take damage with her, and be able to pull her out afterwards, which is great. We do really need to find a Melmetal here, though. Yeah. How many of those? 2 and 6 cards. I have 2 more draws at it, so we still got a minute here. What is your favorite card and why is it far-fetched? Asking the real questions. So I think the plan here is we Budding Expeditioner and we'll put up the Druddigon. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and potion this Druddigon because last turn's what's it called? Comes with the implication that they might have another Sabrina. And I don't want to leave a 10 HP Drudigon on my bench when we're staring down the barrel of an Articuno Blizzard. This potion doesn't really accomplish anything, considering they're just taking a hit from rough skinning in here. And I'm kind of struggling to see a path to victory here for my opponent now. Especially with the potion draw. Feels like they're probably pretty torched. Yeah, the sound effect on the metal attacks is very tactile. Think they'll ever release a better Gengar in the next pack? I'd be kind of surprised if they put too many Kanto Pokemon in upcoming packs. I feel like they're going to want to flesh out the other regions here soon. I am really expecting our next booster pack to be very Johto focused. Talking about Umbreon. So I'm expecting Umbreon and Espeon in the set at the end of January, for sure. With our next copy of Potion here, we can go ahead and make sure Melmetal even survives another Giovanni hit. I'm going to go ahead and get Mew start charging up here on the back line for our second attacker. They would need to hit on a second copy of Misty here to have a shot, and because we have the Mew, I don't even think that's good enough. Because, like, they retreat to this, they hit heads on Misty, and then we put second energy on here, hit them once, and then when they knock this out, our Mew is ready to go. Anybody out there, wellness check on the opponent's cell phone. People really don't like losing to Melmetal. There's been a lot of bitterness in the queue this morning. Yeah, for those who haven't done the math, if you're not lucky enough to open the 2 stars you want, it takes about 200 USD, 200 to 250 USD worth of packs to manually pull them. I really wish it was easier to see which energy my opponent has here during the starting screen. I think that's a fire. So I'm going to lead on Drudigon here. All right, can my Melmetal deck survive a Blaine deck? Them having first energy advantage probably makes this pretty challenging. I do have 2 potions in hand, though, which is nice. We're going to play this Melmetal deck in the tournament this morning. It's a smaller one, so I'm not super concerned with it. Giovanniing the Farfetch'd hit. Why would they do this? Is this to set up a... like, so they can Ponyta with the tails? Is that what's going on here? It could just be a nonsensical play. I'm just trying to, like, puzzle out, like, what they could be doing to make that be a thing that's good to do. If they switch to the Ponyta, it makes sense. Okay, just kind of nonsense then. We have Mew to insulate us against a Sabrina. We'll put Melmetal up. My Melmetal takes 20 less, so it only takes 120. So they can't one-shot Melmetal here, which is great. Right? That math works out. It's 120, 140, 120. Oh, the Rapidash can. Yeah, but they don't have energy on it, so I think we just throw this up and then we crack them twice and the game is over, yeah? It's sad that Melmetal can't tank a Mewtwo hit. So that's one of the reasons why the new pack is good for this deck, though. We're playing a copy of Blue, which lets Melmetal tank a Mewtwo hit, and we have 2 copies of Mew EX, which can be good against Mewtwo as well. I'm actually really surprised I haven't seen anybody else talking about this deck. I think it's got a lot of good stuff going on with this new expansion between Leaf and Mew and Druddigon. And the format changing to, like, make amassing better. It's my favorite full art card. I really like full art Alakazam. I think it's really... They're a water deck, so I think I like leading on Meltan against water decks, because if they're Greninja and they lead on the Druddigon, we can just amass a bunch A-okay. Hey, Rye Tiger, thanks for sticking on with the tier 1. I appreciate the support. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, the deck building theory behind the deck I've got put together here is relatively straightforward. It's basically just trying to do what the Golem deck is doing, only we're doing it with a stage 1 instead of a stage 2. I think Meltan amassing seems really strong into lots of people leading on Druddigon as well. I checked my balances. I think it sounds good. We'll see though. I want to join tournaments. How do I do it? LimitlessTCG.com hosts most of the tournaments. Do I want to put an extra Mew out? I don't think so. I think it's just like, go ahead and amass here. I haven't submitted something for the tournament, but you can technically submit right up until the minute before. I'm leaning towards playing this though, yeah. I like the Marshadow deck, but I want to play a variety of things if possible. And I think I'm going to play in Ursi's bigger tournament on Saturday, so I'll probably save the Marshadow run back for that day. The camera focus might be a little different too, yeah. I think I'm just going to start powering up second Meltan on the bench here, too. I'm going to vibe on this professor's research because if they red card me, I want to have the best chance to get back to Melmetal ASAP. Do you think Golem has legs or is it a trap? I mean, the Golem decks early on look like they have promising stats. At the very least, they're not pulling a full Celebi and just, like, completely falling on their face. I was gonna say, we're dead to Gyarados plus a Leaf, but it looks like they don't have that, so that's nice. Potion's a great draw because Melmetal doesn't die to a hit from Gyarados if we potion it. Can confirm Golem has 2 legs. Accurate. Looks like no Gyarados yet for our opponent. I think we just keep building up the other Melmetal here. We'll get a third energy on this, then probably start building up the Mew. Although, if they don't draw the Gyarados, it mostly doesn't matter. What's your preferred Gyarados deck? I'm gonna be honest, none of the Gyarados decks that feel very good have sparked much joy for me. The Drudagon, the Greninja Gyarados is objectively the best performing one. I conceded there, yep. If they had hit the Gyarados, it probably would have come down to whose energies were getting discarded.